Hi, this is AI with Dr. Craig Hansen. And as I've been speaking at conferences and running masterclasses, teacher days, and leadership deep dives, looking into generative AI tools, we've reviewed dozens of platforms. And I think they really can be separated into two different types. The first type would be productivity tools that allow teachers to be really efficient and effective, developing materials faster. And the others are pedagogically driven and curriculum aligned platforms. Sometimes they're both, and we try to include those directly into our training programs that we use. TeachAid is one of those. It's become a real core of what we do with our professional learning and development, either virtually or around the world. And as I interview experts in AI, it seems clear that these Gen AI tools, they need to be curriculum aligned, they need to be pedagogically clear, and they need to have an opportunity to embed the values and the approach that a school is taking so that they are coherent, so that schools and teachers are really supported when they develop teaching, learning, and assessment materials. I was reading an article by Robert Pondasico on 74, that's America's education news source. And he was describing how teachers spend so much significant time on curriculum design and developing materials when it'd be better utilized spending time studying and analyzing student work, giving feedback and building relationships. And I really like that perspective. I think that every young person needs an adult who's really crazy about their success and invest that time in building the relationship with them to show them the way. And I love that TeachAid as a platform is actually on a mission. And that mission is to personalize learning experiences for every student and significantly ease the workload of teachers. Now, I like that. After being a teacher for 30 years, I know that a lot of time goes on administration and our own personal time. So we want to see platforms that really leverage the latest Gen AI advancements. And I really think TeachAid does that. I've had the unique opportunity, as have other principals in New Zealand and around Australia and through the ASEAN nations, to spend time talking with the founder of TeachAid, Nadeem, and talk about the specific school requirements that we have and the kaupapa, which is what we call our values and our flavor and the way that we do things with our cultural perspective here in New Zealand. So at a high level, I found that TeachAid really is, as a platform, something that's pedagogically driven. UDL is embedded in there. So in terms of a pedagogical framework, there's problem-based learning, there's student success criteria listed clearly. The learning goals are made very clear right up the front of developing a unit of learning. Equity is really supported. And if anyone's been to a conference or a workshop that I've run or an online session, they know that I believe AI is the biggest equity move we can make as educators. Why? Because it allows us to differentiate our teaching strategies, differentiate the teaching, learning, and assessment materials that we use so that we can meet the needs of students individually, personalize the learning. And I love that. Also, I've seen through using TeachAid and using it with other schools around the country is that we can localize it. We can localize it for our local community to recognize Indigenous populations and tailor things around the geography. It might be a historical landmark and the rich history that surrounds that. For New Zealand, that's really about the impact of colonization and how it's really held back the local native people, our Maori people, and what we need to do about that by understanding the rich history that New Zealand has, but its impacts. And also, if you're a teacher developer such as myself, being able to use TeachAid to show how a really robust plan of learning, a unit of learning is generated, not only being effective and efficient, but having senior teachers use it to demonstrate a really robust model, it is fantastic for that. For teachers like myself who have pedagogical content knowledge over years of service, we can sometimes feel intimidated when new ways of doing things can make us feel like what we've done in the past may not be as relevant in today. But TeachAid allows us to embed the way that we do things and train other teachers and reference curriculum content that we've developed and build on that and differentiate for different learning styles. And I really, really love that. Also, it's curriculum aligned. So if we're developing teaching and learning and assessment materials, I can see that throughout the generation process, it's going back to the achievement outcomes, back to the curriculum. It means it has cohesion. It's driven and guided by the curriculum and the pedagogy that's built into it. Now, that's really different from off-the-shelf plans of learning that you can download from the internet. I think the trouble with downloading lesson plans or units of work from online sources is that there's a lack of organizational cohesion. When we are driving generative AI tools like TeachAid, we are ensuring that we're making sure that every single part of the development of a lesson, the development of a rubric for marking, reflects the way that we do things. And so there is coherence, pedagogically sound, supports differentiation. And I just don't think that downloadable units of work really meet that requirement. So TeachAid, as we found through reviewing it with hundreds of teachers around the country and across Australia as well, is that it offers customized learning experiences that meets individual needs, including those with IEPs. So that's powerful. The research project that we have with the Resource Teachers of Learning and Behaviour here in the south of Auckland, we're using TeachAid to generate very specific targeted plans of learning for kids that have real barriers to learning. The platform adapts to different learning styles and different paces, and it does ensure student engagement through the interactive materials that are developed. And we really like that. It's culturally responsive in terms of its pedagogy, and it supports vulnerable students and populations. It also improves academic outcomes overall because it helps students be invested. There's learner design in the process. There's nothing stopping a teacher from sitting down with a class, a group, or an individual student and saying, what do you think about this? What should we include in here? What's a context for learning that we should include at this point? While that's already all built in there into TeachAid, we can pause it and we can include the feedback of students. And I think that is powerful. Personalizing learning with learner design. Yes, it does reduce teacher planning time and generating assessments. I think that's great. It supports teachers with tier two strategies of differentiation and supplementation, and it empowers and helps schools to integrate multimodal methods of teaching and learning. And I really like that modern teaching and learning methods are embedded into it. So if you're interested in learning more about TeachAid or the other platforms that we use, or how to start just at the policy level and drive that right through to what students do in the classroom, reach out to me, Craig at educated.co.nz for teacher only days, staff meetings, principal meetings, full on professional learning and development packages. And TeachAid will be part of that, as will a range of other platforms, because I think it's really powerful. So this is AI with Dr. Craig Hansen, and I look forward to engaging with you and supporting your teachers soon.